who were held at Muthaiga police station were later released under similar conditions. According to their advocate, the arrests are believed to be linked to the recent BBC documentary named Blood Parliament, which aired shocking footage allegedly showing security officers fatally shooting 3 protesters during the June 25th anti-finance bill demonstrations. Police officers reportedly arrested the 4 at their offices in Karen, also confiscating their phones and equipment. The filmmakers have been directed to report to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, that is the DCI offices, on Monday morning for further questioning. The arrests have sparked widespread condemnation from human rights groups who view the detentions as an attack on press freedom and an attempt to intimidate independent media practitioners. And the BBC press office has officially denied any involvement of the 4 in the production of the Blood Parliament documentary.
From the perusal of the OB, it seems that they are likely going to be charged with the publication of false information. We are yet to know the particulars on why these charges do exist. But from further insight into why they've been taken, it seems they are being targeted for the publication of the Blood Parliament documentary, which was aired by BBC. I did not get to even have a miscellaneous quite a copy of the application on why their gadgets and why their offices were raided and why their equipment had been taken. That is something that I'll be following up with the DCI to get all those particulars.
I'm happy for the guys who came through. For sure, definitely friends came through. Relatives came through, and pretty much everyone who was concerned, all the WhatsApp groups that shared our arrest. Yeah, I want to just say thank you for that.
Now, as Kenya joins the rest of the world in marking World Press Freedom Day, media practitioners have called on the government to halt increasing attempts to suppress the press, warning that such actions pose a serious threat to democracy. Concerns have intensified following the May 22nd arrest of 4 filmmakers, which many journalists and media rights groups view as part of the broader crackdown on independent media voices. Speaking at a roundtable discussion on democracy media, the socialization in Africa held in Nairobi, participants emphasized that press freedom is a cornerstone of democratic governance and must be protected at all costs. The Kenya Union of Journalists, that is KUJ, issued a stern warning stating that continued harassment and intimidation of journalists and media workers could lead to the erosion of hard-won media freedoms in the country. The roundtable brought together journalists, human rights advocates, academics, and civil society leaders who collectively called for stronger protections for the media and greater accountability from state actors.
As we mark the World Press Freedom Day today, we must say that it's a very sad day because we've seen the government has unleashed crackdown on the media once again. We are aware that the government has, police have arrested filmmakers, people who are associated with the content that was aired by the BBC, and we think that is harassment, intimidation of the media, and we must condemn that.
So as they celebrate their Press Freedom Day, we are keen to continue to partner with the media for the promotion of all fundamental freedoms, particularly freedom of expression, the essence of the role of journalists, of media practitioners across our continent and across the globe is to serve as agents of change, catalysts, and defenders of democracy.
All right, moving on, Vihiga Senator and ODM Party Deputy Chairperson Godfrey Osotsi has strongly condemned the recent arrest of 4 filmmakers allegedly linked to the production of the BBC documentary Blood Parliament. Speaking out on the matter, Senator Osotsi decried the police action as a violation of constitutional rights and a direct attack on freedom of expression. He emphasized that the Kenyan Constitution, which ODM played a key role in championing, guarantees citizens the right of to speak freely and express themselves without fear of persecution. The senator further cautioned President William Ruto against returning the country to a past era characterized by oppressive leadership and stifled dissent and suppressed free speech.
Nimesikia sasa wale vijana ambao walitoa hiyo film ya BBC ya kuonyesha vile vijana wetu waliuawa kwa maandamano ya Gen Z. ati sasa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza imeenda imeshika hao vijana. Sisi kama chama cha ODM hatuungi mkono unyanyasaji wa watu ambao wana express themselves. Freedom of expression lazima iheshimiwe hapa Kenya. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Ruto, sisi tunakuambia hao vijana, wachilia hao vijana, hawana makosa yoyote. Hao vijana walitoa tu documentary kupitia kwa shirika la BBC kuonyesha vile vijana wetu walikufa. If anything, inafaa wapewe zawadi kwa kuonyesha wazi mambo vile ilikuwa, si ndio? Kwa hivyo we don't support that as a party because ODM vote for a new constitution. Hii katiba ambayo tuko nayo, chama cha ODM ndio kilileta. Ile uhuru iko ndani ni kwa sababu ya chama cha ODM. Hatuwezi tukaangalia kama hiyo freedom ambazo ziko kwa hiyo katiba zinakanyagwa na serikali. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Ruto, hiyo mambo ambayo imefanyika, kama ni waziri wako, hao vijana wawachiliwe, hawana makosa hata kidogo. Na hii ni jambo la pili, mmeona hata wasichana wadogo wa Butere wanaonyesha sinamu, ati sasa wanazuiliwa tena. Hatutaki turudi kwa zile enzi za kitambo za KANU, kwa sababu tuko na katiba mpya. Kwa hivyo as ODM we are saying that is wrong, and those people who have been arrested should be released unconditionally because they have not committed any crime by telling Kenyans the truth. In fact, the police should tell us more truth to what we have seen.
Right, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has raised concerns over the rising number of extrajudicial killings in Kenya following the tragic death of Kasipul Member of Parliament Ongondo Were. Speaking at a public event, Sifuna condemned the killing, highlighting that the death of an elected representative in the broad daylight is in an area equipped with security cameras has led to a serious erosion of public trust in the country's security forces. Sifuna expressed outrage that the incident occurred despite the presence of surveillance measures meant to protect citizens, including those in positions of power. He called on the authorities to fast-track investigation into Were's death, urging the government to take immediate action to restore public confidence in the security agencies. The senator's remarks comes amid growing concerns of extrajudicial killings in Kenya, with human rights organizations demanding swift action from the government to address these crimes and hold those responsible accountable. Sifuna's comments are a call for transparency and urgent reforms in the way security forces operate in the country.
Tumezungumzia hapa mambo ya usalama. Wacha niongee kama katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Tumepigwa na butwaa sana sisi wana ODM kwa habari ambazo zimempata ndugu yetu wa Kasipul, Mheshimiwa Ongondo Were. Nairobi and the entire country has become so unsafe ya kwamba mbunge anaweza kupigwa risasi kwa barabara tu. Ngong Road sio mahali ati kuna kichaka, hapana. Ni mahali peupe, kuna security cameras, kila kitu kiko pale. Inawezekanaje mtu apige mtu risasi pale, arudi apande boda na aende? Hakuna mtu anasemekana amemuona, jamii. Na sisi kama wabunge tunajua kwanza tumeharibu uhusiano wetu na wananchi. Wananchi hawatupendi, hiyo ndio kweli. Mheshimiwa Macharia, pandwano wakakope hapo sababu zima. Because of our own manners. Tabia yetu yenyewe imefanya wananchi sasa siku hizi wanatuangalia kama sisi ni maadui. Ukiangalia baada ya kifo cha Mheshimiwa Ongondo Were, ukisikiza comments zile watu wanasema, nimeona mwingine akisema huyo mtu hata ashuke hiyo boda aendelee kuua watu. Kuna wabunge kadhaa bado lazima wanataka waharuke. Umeharibu uhusiano wetu na wananchi, si ndio? Mtu anasimama mbele ya umma anazungumza matope kabisa. Tunaonekana ni kama sisi tunajali maisha yetu peke yake, hatujali maisha ya wananchi wa kawaida. Kule Transmara juzi tumewawa watu 6 kwa sababu ya mzozo wa ardhi. Mwenye kunyakua ardhi mnamjua. Si mnamjua? Mumma hilemota. Sasa badala tu address issue ya kunyakua shamba, naona viongozi wa Rift Valley kwa sababu wakati huu unajua wanasema ukizoea kulisha mamba watoto wa wengine, wakati watoto wa wengine wataisha hiyo mambo itakula watoto wao. Sasa namuona Senator Cheruiyot ndio ameamuka. Hadi sasa anasema wanasomea IG kama amekaa hapo Inspector General of Police. Wanamsomea kwa sababu imefika kwao. Lakini sisi tunasema kama hakuna mtu ambaye ni salama mahali, sisi sote hatuko salama. Haijalishi wewe ni mbunge, wewe ni mwalimu, wewe ni father, we have to have a country where everybody is safe. We have lost our empathy. You listen to a member of parliament anasema people die every day. Ni kawaida, we will move on. Those are the people giving the National Assembly and the Senate a bad name, and are giving the relationship, making the relationship between the wananchi and the people and the leaders very bad. So mimi nataka niseme pole kwa chama kizima cha ODM, wa ndugu zetu wa Kasipul wa kumpoteza mbunge wao. I am telling you, this thing can happen to any one of us, because we are not safe in this country, and the government must do what it needs to do to make sure that we are all safe.
Now, the Senate Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations has expressed deep concerns over widespread financial mismanagement in county governments following shocking revelations that devolved units are operating more than 1,800 commercial bank accounts in violation of public finance laws. The disclosures emerged during a tense multi-agency retreat held in Mombasa, where senior oversight officials from the Office of the Control of Budget, that is the COB, and the Office of the Auditor General reported that many of these accounts were unauthorized, hidden, or dormant, some dating back to the era of the non-defunct local authorities. Officials warned that the existence of such accounts poses a grave risk to public financial accountability and transparency. The accounts are believed to facilitate the systematic misuse of public funds, enable deliberate evasion of audit trails, and entrench financial opacity within county administrations.
The executive and from the parliament, we have asked the Auditor General and the COB to issue a circular immediately to all county governments, for every county government to highlight how many commercial bank accounts they have opened, what they are used for, and how much in those accounts. Because you see, in some counties, some are using those accounts to siphon county public funds.
The counties have not been giving me correct information. It is very serious, and it is something that must be addressed, because going forward, we cannot have them, lying to the whole country, basically.
That indeed we don't have visibility of all these accounts, and worse still, of the amounts held in these accounts and the use of those accounts. That is where risk is.
There's nothing illegal in counties opening accounts in commercial banks for as long as the approval has been obtained by the CS of National Treasury.
Now, the death toll from the robbery attack in Chamo, located in northern Baringo, has risen to 2, with 8 others wounded, including members of the National Police Reserve, that is the NPR officers. Now, the attack occurred just 1 week after armed robbers killed a woman and injured 3 others on the Marata-Tangle Bay Road. The latest incident has drawn attention to the ongoing security concerns in the region, particularly amid a review process of NPR officers. The assault comes at a time when the government is conducting a fresh vetting of NPR officers stationed in Baragoi, after reports emerged that some NPR officers had been involved in criminal activities over the past 2 years. These activities include assisting robbers and participating in livestock theft, which has contributed to an overall decline in security in previously protected areas. The government launched the vetting process in response to the complaints that some NPR members were complicit in criminal acts, undermining the security efforts in the region. Several NPR officers from the Kerio Valley area have already been arrested or dismissed due to their involvement in criminal activities, further fueling tensions in the area.
Ati sasa mnataka kutafuta saa hii hapa kwa Baringo North hapa, mnataka kutafuta ati umorani. You are the kind of people that Jesus would have written a letter to, like in the book of Revelations, like the church of Ephesians. Kwamba ati jana mlikuwa watu wazuri sana, saa hii mnataka kurudi nyuma.
This is not a minister for internal security. Mtu ya TikTok, Facebook, selfie na askari sio waziri ya nini. Huyo nitaka kuwa waziri ya uturati na culture na mambo ingine, lakini sio waziri ya usalama.
There should be a systematic way
of vetting without leaving the area to be vulnerable. I am appealing to the government, particularly the security arm of government, to use an intelligence-led approach.
Right, it is exactly 19 minutes past the top of the hour. That's right, to take a short breather here on EBN Weekend Edition. We will be back in just a bit. Chief Beatrice Adagala Mudavadi emphasized the need for political cohesion in the region. Mudavadi called on the leaders of the region to set aside their differences and direct their efforts towards a common political direction, stressing that President William Ruto has provided a unique opportunity for Western Kenya leaders to participate in high-level governance. He further emphasized that it is in the duty of the people from the area to show political solidarity as a way of reciprocating the support extended by the President. The Prime Minister also urged the region's leaders to back the government's development initiatives, particularly projects in infrastructure, education, agriculture, and youth employment. He urged that these efforts would bring real and meaningful change to the community, creating a foundation of future prosperity. All right, moving on, Siaya Governor James Orengo has pledged to continue speaking out against the threats undermining Kenya's democratic principles, asserting that no amount of intimidation will silence him. The governor made the bold declaration while launching health infrastructure projects at Bandege and Urenga in Ugenya constituency. Orengo emphasized that true democracy cannot flourish unless citizens are willing to hold leaders accountable, especially those attempting to weaken vital institutions. He criticized the emerging culture where some leaders treat themselves as untouchable and immune to public criticism, warning that such attitudes pose a serious risk to democratic governance. The governor lamented that erosion of democratic processes, pointing out instances where duly elected leaders were denied the opportunity to serve due to election result manipulation. He decried the growing disregard of democratic institutions by certain authorities, saying it has contributed to compromised electoral integrity.
Lazima turekebishe. Lazima Kenya iwe demokrasia kama nchi zingine ambao kuna demokrasia. Na kuna nchi hapa Afrika kama Botswana wanafanya uchaguzi bila matatizo. Kuna nchi kama Mauritius wanafanya uchaguzi bila matatizo. Kuna nchi kadhaa katika Afrika ambao wamekomaa kwa mambo ya demokrasia. Kenya na hii katiba ya 2010 karibu miaka 25, lazima sisi pia tukomaa tuwe na demokrasia ambayo inafaa, na tuwe na viongozi ambao wasiwe miungu.
The truth shall make you free. Yes. And we must have a leadership countrywide and continentally that believes in the law, the constitution, and the truth. And as James Agre Bob Orengo, who believes in the rule of law, and I believe in the constitution, and I am one who has been trained by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and worked with Raila Amolo Odinga. I am one of the few people who saw Tomboy in action. I didn't just hear stories. I am one who sat at the same table as a young man with Agwin Skodek, the first lawyer in the Republic of Kenya. I cannot let Kenyans down or my community down by not speaking the truth. I will continue speaking the truth. And if there is anybody who wants to take any action against me, I want to tell them, I have been through those trials and tribulations. I am Chumama tested. And Chumama Wang Mongirore.
All right, moving on, Sabot, Member of Parliament Caleb Amisi has called on his constituents and all Kenyans to carefully read and understand the proposed 2025-2026 finance bill before making any public statements or taking action. Speaking to residents in his constituency, Amisi stressed the importance of informed civic engagement, particularly in light of last year's protest over the 2024-2025 finance bill, which tragically resulted in the death of several young people. He urged Kenyans not to repeat the painful experiences of the past by reacting without full comprehension of the bill's contents. Amisi encouraged citizens to visit Parliament if they wish to engage in legislative process, emphasizing that such visits are within their constitutional rights. He also cautioned the police against using excessive force to disperse peaceful citizens seeking to participate in democratic processes. The MP's remarks comes ahead of the public consultation phase of the new finance bill, a period marked by high public interest and scrutiny following controversial tax proposals in previous years.
Tunaenda kusoma budget ya taifa. Na wengi wao wanasema kwa nini umeunga ama hujaunga. Nataka wananchi wa Saboti, mimi nawapea basari msome ili muangalie finance bill ni nini iko ndani. Watu wa Saboti hao wamesoma, watasoma finance bill. Isikuwe kama ile wakati ya June 2025 ambapo ilibidi vijana wa Gen Z wakuje kwa parliament na wakachapwa risasi. Na mmeona BBC dunia mzima imeangazia watu ambao walichapwa risasi, na hatujaona hadi saa hii compensation kwa vijana. Kama finance bill itakuwa mbaya na vijana wakuje kwa bunge, sitaki mtu akufe kwa kukuja kwa bunge. Nitaomba askari watoke waingie nje, waruhusu wananchi wakuje kwa bunge kwa sababu bunge ni yao. This should be the last time we are losing a young man for fight for democracy, freedom of speech and a finance bill that is conducive to the common mwananchi. Hii iwe ni mara ya mwisho Mkenya kumwaga damu kwa ajili ya kupigania haki yake. Haki ya kidemokrasia.
All right, it is exactly 29 minutes past the top of the hour. That's to wrap up our bulletin here at EBN Weekend Edition. Of course, many thanks for, of course, keeping me company. I just want to sample some of your feedback here on our Facebook page at EBN TV. Cynthia Eroni says she is watching. Many thanks for that. Denke Kisilu, Kennedy Jumbas Rigwa, David Njue, Mikamika, Lauren Kelly, and of course, just about to name a few. Nasema asante sana for keeping us company here on EBN Weekend Edition. It is exactly 29 minutes past the top of the hour. That's to wrap up our bulletin here at EBN Weekend Edition. Do have yourself a blessed Sunday ahead, and as always, let's do this again when God says we do.